where did this begin? This idea, this project?
I mean, it began in quite a few places. It's like different ideas that culminated in one specific project, I think. I think the audio part of it came from, I developed a noticeable form of tinnitus that I wanted to explore the idea of what would happen with an entire world where all of a sudden your ears just are basically completely unreliable. I liked exploring just through sound and through audio, like how I can set up expectations, how I can basically just play with what you take away from a film, what you take away from a story. Otherwise, the idea itself was, I mean, it was so many things. I love audio. I love everything about it is something that I grew up. My dad was an audio engineer, so I grew up just surrounded by all these little sound things. I was like running cable when I was like 6 years old for my dad. And I was doing just all this stuff. My entire world was built up around it, and then I found photography somewhere along the way, and then all of a sudden this like film thing came onto my radar, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I can do both. And this project is really kind of a personal foray into that kind of culmination of both how much I love video and how much I love audio.
Great. And sorry, could I have the rest of you guys introduce yourselves and your role in the film?
Go ahead, Cyrus.
Yeah, I'm Cyrus. I was the lead actor.
Great.
I'm Melina Kirsch. I was the script supervisor.
Cool.
I'm Corbin. I ended up DPing it.
Ended up.
I will ask you, how did you get involved in the project?
Yeah, I actually met Daniel probably almost around a year ago, just a little over. And I think I had just graduated, and I had met Daniel through Corbin, and we decided one day to go to Corbin's house and read a bunch of scripts that a bunch of us had written. And this was one of them. And we read through a couple of them, and then we got to this one. I had no idea what it was about. And then we finished reading it. I'm like, wow, this is sweet. What a weird, crazy idea. And Daniel's like, do you want to act in it? I'm like, sure, yeah. Okay, yeah. I was not expecting that. But yeah, so that's how I ended up getting involved. It was just happened to bump into Daniel, and pretty soon after read the script and got involved.
Cool. I want to ask, and I'll ask the DP here, how was it shooting that one long shot?
I think we got it on take 7, I want to say. Is that right?
Wow.
Take 6.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
No, we ended up getting on take 6, and it was a lot of fun. We actually had a brilliant assistant camera team, and we were able to pre-build the camera on the Zhiyun gimbal beforehand. We needed something that could carry a heavier load, so we ended up going with the Zhiyun gimbal. We just put it in the back of the truck, so that way when the truck went downhill, the camera stayed straight, which we felt was more necessary just for that specific shot. But
It was an ambitious shot. I didn't think. It was the one shot that I really wanted to get, and it was also the shot that I was like, I don't know if it's going to be possible, because this is like barely even a shoestring budget. We whipped this thing together, and I only was able to make that work because I am really good friends with one of the like, I guess, sort of council members or something of that neighborhood. And I just was like, one day I was like, that's a really nice street you have out there. What are the odds that we can shoot on it? And so I ended up going like door to door to every house on that block, and giving them like a notice and a heads up, and then also asking them further questions, like if they wanted to be an extra, or if they wanted to like lend us a house for the location, which we ended up using one of those houses for it. But I mean, it was a crazy effort because we managed to just like shoot the entire thing in this singular neighborhood that was just it took so much time, but it was, I mean, it was well worth it. The shot, I'm so proud of that shot. It's fantastic.
Excellent. Okay, I'll ask you, what kind of set does Daniel run? You know, what's the vibe? What's it like?
It was really fun, and it was really ambitious for sure. I remember showing up, and I think you had like 40 shots planned for one day.
Yeah.
And which we didn't do 40 shots, but it felt like it felt really exciting, and even like despite having, you know, this really long list of like, here's all the things we want to do, it never felt like impossible to know that we were going to get everything that we needed. Maybe not like all of the ideas we're going to get in there, but definitely all the ones that were going to end up making the best film that we could. And we all just had like so much fun, like goofing around and like climbing in the truck and like riding down the street over and over again to like film that shot was so much fun.
That's great. And last question from me, between the DP and you yourself, super creative framing in a lot of this. Is that something you guys came together with, or who came up with that, or how did you collaborate on those shots?
So at this point in my career, I was just getting off one of my own films, and it was a very big priority role for the director. So I told Daniel that something that I do have a lot of practice in at this point in my career was actively partaking in DPing on set. So I figured, especially after reading the script, knowing of how personal it was to you and how quickly it connected to me, it was really important to me that, given that you're the writer, that I took a little bit of a step back from the shot listing process. So that way, when I would get that idea, then we would talk about it. So it kind of started with you, I'd say.
I definitely did a lot of the shot listing and all that, but I mean, this was, I really wanted to make sure on this kind of set that I was able to spend like a significant amount of time working with all of the departments. I feel like it's really easy to get for a director, especially because camera is also something that I find myself in a lot. I find that it's very easy to kind of neglect other departments. And I really wanted to not have to worry about that on this set, which was why Corbin was the no-brainer for it, where it was like, I need somebody who's competent, who can set something like that up. Like, I didn't even have a director's monitor on the set. I didn't want one. I was like, yeah, here's the shot list. You know what I want. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
It's all you. But,
I think the biggest conversation was at what points is the camera working in tandem with the paperboy and when it's not. A lot of the time, this film is very disconnecting. I mean, the audio is literally delayed by 2 seconds. It's doing everything possible to disconnect you from it. That is until he smells the flower. So that is why the camera is not going Dutch with him as it's going downhill. It's not experiencing something with him. The same thing with the camera not adjusting to get the perfect framing when the guy steps forward and half his face is only in the frame. If the camera's not working in tandem with the actor at that point, why would I move the camera?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of that talk, which in hindsight sounds very like casual, but in the moment it felt very, there was a lot of planning that went into it, but it was really spontaneous at times, and that's what really made it useful.
Yeah.
I'll open up. Anybody a question for our filmmakers?
We floored them.
They're floored. All right. Well, anyway, thank you guys. That's Post. Everyone, give a round of applause again. Thank you.